Hello and welcome to Sewingamore. My name is Mela and I'm going to show you how to make the Amelia blouse with the no wrap version. Please make sure that you've already printed and assembled the paper pattern and have cut out the fabric pieces. Also note that in this video I'm not going to show you the sleeves because it's already in the other video with the wrap version. If you don't have the paper pattern yet, then you can find it through the link below or my website sewingamore.com. For this version of the Amelia blouse, you will cut the front one piece a little bit different, so I wanted to show it. You will fold the pattern piece as shown where the line is, and then put it on the fold of the fabric because we cut this piece on fold. And then we just normally pin the pattern piece onto the fabric or however you want to cut it. And once you're done pinning it onto, before cutting, you can decide what kind of neckline you want. You can have the normal neckline, you can make it a little higher and rounder if you prefer that, or you can make it also wider. If you make it like this, make sure that you also adjust the back shoulder seams. Or you can make it even more open and show a little bit more, or you can make where the fold is sharper and make a little V-neck action. Really depends what you want. Once you've cut everything out, you will start with the neck bindings and you will overlock the bottom edge. If you don't have an overlock, you can also zigzag stitch, or yeah, just make sure that the fabric doesn't fray. Once you're done overlocking, you will put the neck bindings, first the back neck binding on top of the back piece, and you will put right sides together and you will pin the top edge together. And then of course once that's done, we will gonna do the same thing with the front piece. So we're gonna put the front neck binding on top of the front piece and right sides together and pin the top edge. Once it's all pinned together, we're gonna sew very close to the edge. It's called the edge stitch, and I think it's like 1/8 inch, or like 0.3 centimeters approximately. You don't need to be super accurate, but just make sure to sew quite close to the edge. And of course we're gonna sew the back and the front piece. And after sewing, we're gonna make little snips where the seam allowance is. So like around every ½ inch, every centimeter, we're gonna make a little cut, but make sure to not cut into the seam. It's just, we make the cut so it's a little bit easier to fold it over later. So now we're gonna take the iron and we're gonna press the seam open, or like we fold the binding open, and we're gonna iron where the seam is to make it nice. A little bit easier also to fold it over. We're gonna fold it over and then iron. So now you will end up with the wrong sides together, and it should be just, yeah, very nice and clean. We're gonna do this obviously with the front and the back piece, and then usually one would top stitch. I decided here to not top stitch because I did not want to have a visible seam. If you don't want to have a visible seam like me, you can also just leave it, or you can glue it together with interfacing. But usually you would have the top stitch quite close to the edge. But you can of course have a wider seam allowance. Really completely depends how you want it. I decided to skip the top stitching here. I already am on to the next step. But if you want to do the top stitching, then please follow the instructions in the PDF file. The next step will be to put the front piece on top of the back piece, right sides together, and pin the shoulder seams. And once you're done pinning the shoulder seams, you will also pin the side seams together. And once you're done pinning all of the sides, you will of course sew again with the same seam allowance. And yeah, just sew all the 4 seams. we're gonna also press the seam open again after sewing them. Pressing the seams open, it's not necessary, but it adds a much nicer finish. It makes everything look just better, more professional, more neat. And yeah, so I would recommend it. And then after pressing seams open, you overlock or again zigzag stitch the raw edges. And then also after the overlocking, I will press all the seams to the back piece. So the side seams I will press to the back, and also the shoulder seams I will press also to the back. And then once it's done, we need to double fold the hem, the bottom of the whole bodies. And we're gonna first fold the hem like a 1/4 inch, like around 1/2 centimeter, and press it all around. And then we're gonna fold again. And I folded now a little bit wider than 1/2 inch, like a little bit wider than 1 centimeter. But you can also make the double fold hem a little bit smaller or wider, depending how you want. You can also try the piece on and see if you want it shorter or how wide you want the hem to be. And then you're just gonna edge stitch, so you're gonna sew close to the inner edge. And then when you're done with this, you're basically done, except for the sleeves. And I'm not going to show how to do the sleeves in this video because I already showed it in the wrap style version of the Amelia Blouse, so please check it out. And then once you have the sleeves, then you will sew them in, and it's all shown in the other video, and then you're done with the blouse. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you liked your new blouse. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and I see you next time.